paying for what I believed in. You just don't. So my strong advice to you is I actually just had this gala, a group I formed called Woman Up, a play on the man up that we're always told. A group I formed called Woman Up just gave $10,000 to the organization called Emerge.
Woo!
They did terrific training. She's right. Emerge does terrific training programs, not just for candidates, but for people who want to be campaign managers or support candidates. So you should absolutely do it. One of the problems the Democratic Party, and this goes to your second question, one of the problems the third question, one of the problems the Democratic Party has had is that we've been too bound by these ideas about who can or should represent us. It's a democracy. Everybody has that potential in them. And so I think we do need more young people. I think we do need people from different backgrounds. I think we do need people who can speak to what it's really like to be young and worry about the concerns that people who are young have. And so I think you should definitely think about it and do it. Democrats need to figure out how to rebuild and how to re-energize. Some of that is about not being cowed in this moment. I have a lot of colleagues in Congress who used to tell me about the good old days. And I wanted to learn from their experiences, and many of them had things to teach me. But at some point I also I wanted to say to them, but we're not in the good old days. We're in the current sucky days. And that's the environment in which we have to operate. Right? Like, we're not gonna go back. I think the future is bright. I think the future is bright for California and bright for America. But I think it's gonna be bumpy. I think we're gonna go through some stuff. And I think a lot of them just thought if they didn't say anything and they didn't think about anything, Donald Trump and the forces that he unleashed would just disappear. And that was a huge mistake to take that kind of attitude. Right? And so I think that the Democratic Party needs to elect different and new people. I think we need to make space for those new and different people when they get elected. And that's true at every level of government, right? But we have term limits some places that help that process along a little bit more than we do in Congress. So, I think we had a lot of talented people. I got elected in 2018 with like 56 new Democrats. Over half of us are gone 6 years later. And a lot of us chose to run for different offices, for governors, for senators, for lieutenant governors, for all kinds of positions. And some of that was about not feeling like Congress institutionally, this is not about any particular person, but institutionally, was Congress ready for all of the fresh energy that we brought? We all ran on things like not taking corporate PAC money and not having been lifetime politicians and different approaches. And they kind of ran headlong into an institution that has been very much the same. And so I think there are things for the party to start to think about. I think there are things for institutions to start thinking about. I think even in Sacramento, where we have term limits and we have people coming in, there are habits and modes of thinking that develop over time, and you have to have people who shake that up and who push back on that. So if you ask many people in Congress about healthcare, they'll start talking to you about the Affordable Care Act. I care a lot about the Affordable Care Act. It was also